Hey, I'm Gayle Brandeis, and I'm going to be reading to you from my short story, The Wash. Let's get married, Mason said, as he was driving us down Baseline to Goldman's Medical Supply. I mean it, Shelby. Keep your eye on the road, I told him. He was looking right at my face. No, really, Shelby, I mean it. What do you say we get married? Mason, you're not even my boyfriend. I slurped up the last of my white cherry icy. That's okay, said Mason. There was a funny shine in his eyes. People do it all the time. We like each other, right? Of course we do, Mason, I said. But by then we had pulled up in front of Goldman's, and I squeezed one last drop through the red straw with the little spoon at the end, and we had other things to think about. Mason needed surgical tubing. He and some friends were going to play war games out in the wash the next day. Surgical tubing made the best slingshots for water balloons. The wash is up by the foot of the San Bernardino Mountains. It's probably a dry riverbed full of rocks, all the water washed away. It would be a rock lover's dream, except all the rocks look the same, white. Maybe they look different to rock lovers. The smell at Goldman's gives me the creeps. It's like vinegar and old people and the tape on the bottom of maxi pads all mixed together. While Mason tested out surgical tubing, what stretches farther, what springs back faster, I looked around. Usually when I go to a store, I can find at least one thing I'd be happy to bring home, but not here. No bedpans or oxygen machines for me, thank you. Goldman's has a whole section of prosthetics. Fake arms, eyes, breasts, feet. It must feel weird to have a glass eye in your head, like a permanent brain freeze. I guess I wouldn't mind slipping some fake boobs into my bra, but that would be a fine how do you do for any guy I might pick up. Take off my shirt and my boobs fall out? I don't think so. Back in the truck, I felt kind of strange. I took some of the 100 feet of tubing out of the bag and started yanking on it. It felt good to pull it with both hands, to feel the resistance in between. All those body parts must have got to me. I felt like I was made out of something very flimsy. I looked over at Mason and said, "Okay, Mason, I'll marry you." Thanks.
Okay, hello everybody. My name's Keenan Norris. I'm one of the contributing authors to San Bernardino Singing, the first literary anthology, first and only literary anthology based completely on San Bernardino-based literature. I published a novel a few years ago, also through Heyday Books, called Brother and the Dancer, that is set in this area of San Bernardino, in and around it. And my piece in San Bernardino Singing is drawn from that book, and I'm going to read part of that right now. After finally figuring out that Erica no longer wanted him, Ricky didn't come around anymore. Instead, he sent the girls he slept with to find Erica at school, at the store, wherever, whenever, so that they could tell her about how lucky they were and how dumb a bitch she was. Erica didn't take any of this seriously. She knew she wasn't dumb and she could care less about being a bitch, as long as she wasn't the weak kind. She plain and simple didn't take the girls as personally as she knew Rick was hoping that she would. Unlike his quotations and his weird suit, this was a very predictable move on his part. He was male. Young as she was, Erica already knew that the other half of humanity had their egos wrapped around their dicks. If you denied them sexually and at the level of their ego, they would let you know about it. If these females were Rick's way of moving on, she was good with that, just so long as he moved on. He had some truly annoying, spiteful bitches hauling his water for him, but she was good with that too. The girls were nothing to her. All she wanted was to be left to herself. She was best by herself. It was in fall of her senior year in high school that she saw the blue dancer's dress again. It had been months since any of Ricky's girls had approached her, and then one day walking home from step practice, Erica saw the pretty little dress again. There were a million little blue dresses in the world, but somehow she just knew that the one the girl walking up Delrose Avenue was wearing was the exact same one that Ricky had bought for her and that she had left at his place when she broke up with him. The girl inside the dress had a red light, traffic stopping figure. She overflowed and fell out of the dress in front of and even more in back. Her butt was a convex table, the dress a tablecloth barely covering her. She didn't have the dancer's body that the dress seemed meant for, but she had a shapeliness that surpassed the dress. Erica noticed the cars along Del Rosa slowing as they passed the girl and felt suddenly, totally, physically inadequate. It had to do with the dress, with the girl, with the fact that Erica was dressed in sweatpants and a sweat-soaked top, and her unmade hair was a wet mess, and she smelled like a man, and she was walking alone. Ricky's previous females had been average at best. They were the kind of desperate girls who felt they had nothing but sex to offer. The first one was his G Street jump-off. The girl confronted Erica outside the high school. She was about 6 feet tall in her heels, so when she walked up to Erica, she literally talked down to her. The spiteful part was that she straight out told Erica how even before Erica was out of the picture, she and Ricky liked to have sex in the bed Erica shared with her man. Then she asked Erica if she wanted in on a threesome. The second girl stepped Erica in the grocery store one day. She was light-skinned, probably mixed with white or Latina, and small like Erica. She had a mouth on her too, talking about Ricky's size and calling Erica all kinds of bitches and heifers. They were both small, but Erica was strong and she knew it. Knew she could yank the girl by her long hair and slam her into the wine rack if she made her angry enough. When she could maim her so easy, it was hard to feel anything but superior. The third female, Erica barely remembered, except that the woman was a little bit older than the others, wore a weave, and had what looked like a wedding ring on her finger. She spoke softly, but said most of the same messed up things. Erica felt sorry for her. Erica had as little respect for those females as Ricky did for them. But this girl coming up the street was a little different, more unself-conscious than the others. She walked like someone who wasn't trying to convince herself that the brother she had just slept with still wanted her. Erica was the nervous one now. She played her hands through her sweat-drenched hair, tried to make it magically sit up or lie down or fly sideways or anything half respectable. But as usual, it was impossible to make wet hair be anything respectable. As they neared each other, the girl's eyes narrowed on Erica. She swung her purse in a full looping circle. Erica could tell something was about to happen. She nodded at the girl. The girl did not nod back. Erica kept her eyes on the little purse. I like them bangs, the girl offered. And that top too. Gotta give me one of them right there. The insults came off her mouth sweet as syrup. Erica stopped in the middle of Del Rosa. The girl stopped too. Erica waited for something to come to mind, something that she could say in return, but nothing came. Yeah, the girl in the blue dress went on. You don't say much, do you? Making things all awkward. Is that a strategy or something? Right then, Erica regretted not having made friends with the younger girls in the step squad who had replaced her graduated friends Quincy and Lindsay. Now she walked home alone from practice. I just finished step practice, she finally managed. I'm tired. She still had her eyes on the purse. I have a team out in Moreno Valley. I was born and raised in this filthy old town, but I got my ass to Moreno Valley. Ain't nothing worthwhile out here. Just my dude, he stay out here. And family. But they all moving down my way, down to Moval.